Could your health and your immunity be impacted potentially by heavy metals? Many of us have heard about heavy metal toxicity, and this is a kinesiology balance that's come up. My intent for this particular video was to help strengthen my immunity because I've currently got a cold. It's the first one I've had in quite some time. However, I did spend 6 hours in the car with someone who had a cold and I didn't realize. And so obviously they were contagious, and I have very low to no immunity according to my doctor and my test results. So I work on strengthening that regularly. And however, finally, it got to me, and we're going to do a kinesiology balance, and specifically heavy metal toxicity balance. Now, how we test for what metals? In kinesiology, we use homeopathic vials. I keep mine in a bag, so I've got the full kit to the whole chemical compounds, but the ones that we use in context of kinesiology that we studied with are just these ones. So I have to actually muscle test and find out which ones are relevant. It might be just one, it might be all of them. However, I also haven't found, it's going to come around this way, what emotion may be relevant. So let's find, using the Chinese 5 elemental flow, each meridian, each element has emotions attached to it. And according to Chinese theory, emotions are assigned to different organs. And it's important to find the emotion that's most relevant, because then it's indicating that that is where that initial underlying stress comes from. And it might be a deeply buried emotion. So let's see, it is the 5 elemental chart. I do have other charts, that's why I always test as well. So central governing fire, earth, and it's coming from the earth element, specifically from spleen or stomach, from stomach. So on the unlock, that's a stress. It means like I don't have the power to hold my fingers together anymore with applying pressure, which means that word is a stress for my being. And top bottom, so we've got bitter, and it's the emotion of doubt. Maybe I was even doubting my own ability to protect myself. Maybe I was doubting the situation. Maybe I'm doubting myself in my work and my videos. There are so many ways that we could doubt oneself. However, let's see, it indicates change, self to self, self to others, others to self, others to others, self to life circumstances. So in this context, it's more specifically about life circumstances. So that could be your situation that you're in right now. It could be in your career, in your work. It could be in your living situation. It could be in relationships. That's something you're doubting in context of your situation, or is it your health? Now, I'm going to muscle test. So first I've got to put the heavy metal balance or finger mode into my circuit. So I've gathered that information into my hips, and rather than holding, just to save time, I'm going to just muscle test which ones are stressed by. I'm not reading them, I'm just looking at the individual bottles. We're at 3 so far. So 3 have shown as stressors for me, and they are cadmium, then we have arsenic, and I have mercury. So these can show up in our water. They're also within car fumes and also secondhand cigarette smoke. They all have these types of heavy metals in them. It could also mean that I've been exposed to something, and I'm just talking in general. Could be exposed to something in the past and my body's held on to it. It could be in a medication that I may have taken. There's so many ways that these types of things can come into our being, because our body absorbs it through breath, and also even through our skin. For example, arsenic could be on a council lawn somewhere and you've walked past it and you touched it. I used to do boot camp, for example, down at Balmoral Beach, and they used to use lots of the weed killers, and I'd always end up sick, and it'd always come up in my scans that I had some type of toxicity in my system from that lawn. Now, that was in the past, many years ago. I'm sure they've changed it by now. And now I'll just find out if we need to work with each one individually or if I can work with all of them together. Indicate change individually together, so I can use them all together. I do have a cold, as I mentioned, that's why my voice keeps going. So what I'm going to do is put them into my little bag so they're all together as one, and I'm going to put them in my pocket, and I need to find out then specifically how I'm going to help support my body to move the energy of these heavy metals out of my body. Now, I've tested myself to find out which meridians and which muscle groups I need to work with, because this is about getting the frequency working together between 2 organs to help with the elimination process of these heavy metals. This will be unique to each individual. I'm just demonstrating on myself as to what might help happen during a balance. So the two meridians that have shown up that are involved with my immunity is the central meridian as well as the gallbladder meridian. So central meridian is represented by a muscle, and the movement is like so. I might move over this way. And then the other meridian involved is the gallbladder meridian. And in this context, because there's one gallbladder movement, but I need a leg movement, and it's the popliteus, so it's a little muscle that goes across the knee, is representing the gallbladder meridian. So there's a leg movement I'll be doing down here, while also, so the idea of integration and using our muscles in an integrated way is just as we do with walking, for example. This is an integrated movement. When we're doing right, left, right, that is an integrated pattern. So it's like the yin and the yang, masculine and the feminine. So in this context, I'll be using my arms to represent our central meridian like so, and I'll be moving my lower leg at the same time as I'm using my upper arm. So like so, and like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, I'm burping as energy shifting. 10, 11, 12. Okay, I feel like that's enough now. I'll give myself a shake. Now, whenever we're working with detoxification of any kind, it's important to help support your body with the elimination process. We don't want it storing. I do have an issue in my body where it circulates toxins rather than eliminating it. So I'm going to have to take one of my supplements, which helps with the elimination process. I'm going to also drink plenty of water today with a pinch of salt in that to help with the electrolytes and also processing. And because otherwise my body stores the toxins and then I become inflamed and my body then stores water. And there's so many different symptoms that come about when I'm trying to do detoxes. But a gentle way like this, I can support my body with ease, and I also have the tools available to me to be able to do that. If you'd like to find out what's going on for you or ways that you and your body need support with your immunity, then leave a comment below or book for an appointment online. And just go to www.empoweringhealth.clinic. There you'll be able to see my full calendar of availability. We can work together online. I practice a number of different modalities in which I draw together to help you in your unique way, because we're all unique beings and no one solution fits all. And in this way, we can tailor a solution to you and your needs. I'm Barratt from Empowering Health, and I look forward to working with you soon.